Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Houston Sports Talk back on the video today, and we see the Houston Rockets take another disappointing loss as they lose to the Charlotte Hornets 122 to 117. And if I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, I'm not too upset about this loss. I'm actually kind of happy the Rockets lost. I know that's a crazy thing to say, but if you really think about it, this is a game the Rockets should lose because I'm not talking about the opponent. If you look at the draft right now, because the Rockets have the worst record, they're projected to have the first overall pick, and the Hornets are projected to have a second overall pick. But I think even if we would have won, we're still projected to get that number one overall pick. But I think our chances to get that number one overall pick jumps up if we lose this game. Because if you beat the other team that is, whoever's trying to get the second overall pick, then, it's going to look like I don't know. It didn't even matter if the Hornets were a bad team tonight because, the Rockets in another fourth quarter awful performance for the Rockets. To one point where the Hornets were on a 22-7 run in the fourth quarter. Just another last 6 games, awful performances in the fourth quarter. Rockets lose their 12th straight game. They lose their 10th straight game at Toyota Center as well. And it's not been a fun last 12 games for these Houston Rockets. But I will say, even though it was a bad team night, but Jalen Green, he was having a fun night. He had his career night. It's not his career high. He tied his career high as he scored 41 tonight. He scored 41 in the Rocket season finale last year against the Atlanta Hawks. So he did Jalen Green does tie a career high with 41 points, 4 3-pointers, 5 free throws, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists. So great night from Jalen Green. Went 16 from 24 shooting-wise. He was being aggressive in the paint. I was really impressed with the way Jalen Green played tonight. Had a great first half with 24 points in the first half. Had 17 in the second half. And he didn't have the type of game we saw him have on Friday. Where Friday he has such an amazing first half and just goes blank. Against the Kings on Friday, last Friday, he had 25 in this first half against the Kings, and then he ended up finishing the game with 27. So only 2 points in the second half. So I was glad that Jalen was able to have a whole good game. Just not a good half. Because you need to have good games, not good halves. But hopefully in the near future, when you have really good games like this for Jalen Green, it comes with a win. But I do want to add to a note that this is the 106th time this season that someone scored 40 or more. It might be more now because I think maybe someone else, I think Brunson might have scored 40 tonight. But Jalen Green just is added to the tally of players that have had 40-point performance this season. 106 40-plus point games in the NBA this season. That is just a crazy stat right there. I think that might be higher now. I think Brunson might have scored 40 tonight, but I'm not too sure about that. After that, the Rockets' next leading scorer was Alperen Sengun, who scored 24 tonight and 12 rebounds. And what's crazy is Alp managed to have a good game when Jalen was taking a lot of shots. Jalen took 24 shots, and Alp managed to take 16 of those. So 24 and 12 and 6 for Alp tonight. He did take a 3 after having 3 3-pointers in the last 2 games, but couldn't get it in. It was 10 for 16 on the floor, 4 for 4 from the free throw line, and just an all-around good game for LP. After that, the Rockets had 2 starters with 11 points, Eric Gordon and KJ Martin Jr. KJ had 7 rebounds and 3 assists. Eric had 2 rebounds and 2 assists. Then Jabari Smith got hurt in this game with an ankle injury. Only played 23 minutes. He had 8 points when he was in there with 5 rebounds and 1 assist and 1 block for Jabari Smith. Then off the bench, the Rockets' leading scorer was Josh Christopher. And in 11 minutes, I was really impressed with Josh Christopher. 8 points, was shooting the ball really well, was having one of his best shooting games with the Rockets, was driving the ball. I think he kind of figured out in their last game, he shot so many 3-pointers in that game. I think he's starting to realize that. I'm not saying he's a bad 3-point shooter, because he's a decent 3-point shooter, but I think he's starting to realize that he's way better off by going in the paint or shooting some mid-range shots. I love that about him. The way he's starting to adjust his game a little bit, we kind of saw him adjust his game a little tonight. The way he was playing kind of reminded me of Chris Paul a little bit. Some of the mid-range shots he was taking in today's game, he made 2 of those, reminded me of like a sort of Chris Paul shot in that type. And the way he was driving as well. If he, when he's on the floor, I think that he shoots a lot of 3-pointers, and a lot of them don't go in. I think he was 0 for 4 against the Lakers. If he sticks to mid-range in the paint and trying to draw free throws, Josh Christopher can be really good for this Rockets bench. Tari Eason was 7 points, and I know he had 7, but Tari really struggled tonight. 3 for 11, 1 for 3 from 3, was blocked on multiple occasions on fast break. Tari Eason is not good on fast breaks. You see him, drive, and then you just see him don't just go straight and don't do anything, and then he ends up getting blocked. So Tari does need to work on that, but I guess a good game besides that. Had some good moves for a couple layups, hit a 3-pointer, had 5 rebounds, 1 assist. Then Jason Tate with 4, and then Garrison Matthews with 3, and Garuba played 9 minutes but had 0. DMPs for the Rockets tonight: Bruno Fernando, Boban, Daishawn Nix, and Ty Washington. I think Josh Christopher is starting to earn that backup role. I think that Steven Silas has kind of, gave that those backup guard positions to Garrison Matthews and Josh Christopher. I think Daishawn Nix kind of lost his spot after that awful performance playing against the Clippers. Played 35 minutes, only scored 1 point, and was just awful. And Josh Christopher actually had a good game that game, so I think Josh Christopher's earned his way back into the rotation, and I don't think he'll lose his way out of it for the rest of the season, in my opinion. That's it for the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know we'll go over the scores for the Hornets real quick. McDaniels with 12, 16 for P.J. Washington, 17 for Plumlee, 13 for LaMelo Ball. He got hurt in this game bad. Hopefully he's okay. Only played 20 minutes. Was 4 for 16, though. Terry Rozier was their leading scorer with 26. Mark Williams, man, this kid is a stud. 17 points and 5 blocks. This kid is scary to watch. This guy has a lot of potential. And then 9 for Dennis Smith Jr., and then 10 for Mick Goins. So, yeah. And like I said, tough performance from the Rockets. 12 straight loss, but at this point, I'm over it. I really am. I'm ready for I want the Rockets to continue to losing, because I just want to guarantee this Victor Wembanyama spot, because right now the Rockets have a problem finishing games in the fourth quarter, and I think with Victor Wembanyama can really heal that for the Houston Rockets, and that's what they need. And the more you win, the more you take a chance on losing him. So yeah, I think that the Rockets need to continue to play to lose, or lose most of the time. But even though if you're trying to lose and you're trying to tank for this superstar in Victor Wembanyama, you still need to play better as a team. I get if you're not going to win, but you gotta work on some things. You gotta fix some things, some chemistry things. You gotta work on some things as a team, and I think that needs to be worked on. Even if you're gonna continue to lose, you still gotta work on some team stuff. And some way, the way you play, in the game, you play good basketball through 3 quarters, and then in the fourth quarter you just collapse. So the Rockets need to work on that stuff. So the Rockets take a tough loss to the Charlotte Hornets, 122-117. Jalen Green gets ties his career high for 41 points. Şengün has 24, and the Rockets' losing streak goes to 12. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and let's go Rockets. Peace out.